I'm excited about our next guest, who is Hector. And I want to bring Hector up to stage, and then we're going to play an intro video, and then we'll get things rolling shortly right after. Hector, my friend, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I'm so grateful to be here. What a wonderful message Jeff Ross left, and Sandy. And I'm in the same camp as Sandy. I'm 59. I'll be 60 soon, and it's all good. I am so grateful to be here.
Well, I want to play. You recorded an intro video of your doppelganger, your digital twin. So I'm going to attempt and hopefully help you. Okay. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Bear with me. I'm working on it right now. Hopefully it works.
There you go.
Thanks for the warm introduction, Tom. I'm so excited to share my insights with the audience. Oh, I should mention that your boy Hector doesn't speak fluent Spanish, French, Mandarin, or Tagalog. But I do. Debo decir que es un honor compartir el escenario con tantas personas increíbles. Me siento verdaderamente inspirado. Je dois dire que c'est un honneur de partager la scène avec tant de personnes incroyables. Je me sens vraiment inspiré. 我必须说，能与这么多了不起的人同，太真是荣幸。我感到非常受启发。Kailangan kong sabihin na isang karangalan ang makasama sa entablado ang napakaraming kamangha-manghang tao. Talagang ako'y inspiradong-inspirado. I'd also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Tom, Michael, and their entire team for creating such an incredible AI symposium experience. I'm feeling truly inspired. AI Hector is out.
Yeah, I'm glad you labeled your title The Real Hector, because I had trouble just discerning which was the real and which was fake. And so I had to look at your title to know which one to remove from the screen.
There you go. I am the real Hector the Connector.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was just a little bit of fun that we've been having using AI lately.
So if you don't mind, take 2 minutes. Tell us a little bit about who you are, the industry you're from, a little bit about your business, and how you're using AI.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm a kid from LA, and I grew up drawing and painting. So using things like this, I still carry the sketch pad and blue pencil, my signature pencil, every day in my bag. And so I'm constantly sketching and drawing, and ever since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Today I own a CPG branding company, consumer packaged goods, primarily in the food and beverage space. And so my journey has been 40 years in the making, as far as my career. And what I do now is I create multi-sensory packaging. So everybody has competition. There's other competitors that do consumer packaged goods in the food and beverage space. And I always have to try to up one on, my competitors. They're going to eat my lunch, or I'm going to try to eat their lunch, So it can be that way. So early on, back in 1990, 2 things changed the trajectory of my life. One of them is I tricked a girl into marrying me, a beautiful young lady. LA boy fetched him an Orange County girl. It's a beautiful thing. We're still happily married 34 years later.
Awesome.
Raised 2 precious daughters, and I'm an empty nester. So all good. The second thing that changed the trajectory of my life was learning the Mac. And I learned the Mac in 1990, and probably 6 months after it took me about 6 months to learn it in the evenings after work. And I had an opportunity right after to get an agency job. And I walked into this beautiful agency where they did food and beverage. That was my first introduction. And I was like a kid in a candy store. And there were all these people that were creatives that did what I did. They drew, they painted, they airbrushed. There was photographers and production people. It was just, they worked on these massive brands. They interviewed me. They liked me. They liked my work. and they pointed to this little Mac and they said, "Do you know how to use that?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, you're hired." I was the only one that knew how to use that little machine. And everyone was so cool there. But little by little, the grumblings started. And people were looking at that Mac going, "Hell no, I'm not touching that keyboard. I am not a computer operator. These hands right here, these are my equity. I use these tools. I don't use that foreign thing. What is that thing, that square mouse thing? What is that?" And they were like, "I would rather go do pottery than to use that thing." I mean, they drew a line in the sand. And it wasn't long before they were in the unemployment line, unfortunately. It just was a fact. And then we got more computers. So that's been, what one revolution in my lifetime. And as of, 18, 19, 20 months ago, there's another revolution going on. And I see it so succinctly. And I see people drawing a line in the sand again.
Well stated. As you're telling me the story, I'm like, I couldn't help my mind. That's where my mind immediately went to was, we're seeing this right now where AI technology is being rejected. Where AI is being rejected from the folks who, sorry, my Facebook messengers just pinging. I had to shut it off for me. I don't know how to shut off the sound. And those who adopt it will excel forward. They'll be successful. They'll be more productive. And it can even help them make deeper connection if they use it properly. Sure. Those who reject it out of fear, anxiety, loss of their jobs, just out of pure fear, I think those are the folks that will be at a loss. And that's really the goal of this symposium, is to help educate the global population around the world. We had someone listening from New Zealand, from Australia. We had a speaker from Italy today. Last speaker was from Australia. A couple speakers ago was from Canada. And I think our message is getting out. I think it's resonating. And I'm hoping that with the talks that you give around the U.S., maybe even around the world, Hector, and the AI Symposium here, it'll help reduce that anxiety and maybe increase the acceptance. So people don't go, this is the equity. I'm not going to leave this. So they'll start to adopt that change. Yeah. So what is in the consumer global, I guess, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but the industry you're from, the consumer packaging industry, how are they utilizing AI?
I'm using it, and I don't see everyone else using it. I love my entrepreneurial people, and I love my creative people, and I don't see the adoption. I dove in head first 16, 18 months ago. Once I saw what was happening, I recognized it right away, perhaps before others. So I'm somewhat of an early adopter, and it's all in the creative field. I have lots of photographers, 25, 30 years doing this, that are specialists. I'm able to do what they do now because I've been art directing photography forever. I'm using it for speed to market. I am able to do what used to take 3 weeks in one afternoon. Me being the choreographer and having a very highly trained creative under me, creating imagery, creating photography, creating illustrations for consumer packaged goods.
Go ahead, Tobias.
Hey, Hector. It's great to meet
you. Hey, how you doing, brother? So nice to meet you.
Good. Yeah, you as well. Great to have this opportunity to talk with you today.
Sure.
I love what you said about using it to speed up the process. It used to take weeks, and now you're getting done in a day. Could you tell us a little bit about the type of tools that you're using in the process of designing your packaging or designing, different elements of the consumer goods market?
Absolutely. And first and foremost, we use a lot of HI, human intelligence. Yeah. If I hadn't banked 40 years worth of logos and packaging and brands and colors and patterns and textures, I couldn't do what I do. With that said, I'm able to effectively communicate with these tools, because it isn't all, roses and rainbows. We're adopting these tools. We're leaning in very hard. I'm making my staff do it. They actually love it. And there's a lot of F-bombs going off within the studio. It's so fun. It's so frustrating. So we're using Midjourney. We're using Dolly. We're doing some video with Runway ML. We're doing Hey Jen is my AI sidekick you just saw, dialing in voice with 11 Labs. Like, we're all in. Those are the primary tools. Like I said, Midjourney, Dolly. We use some Chat GPT here and there, but we rely on this more than any of those tools.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, for the moment we started talking before the symposium, I think Manoj is one who referred you over. We had
he's a good friend of mine.
We had a great talk today with Manoj. You sent me the video, and quite frankly, that was impressive. It is very impressive. Is it possible for somebody who may not even own a business, just wants to play around, a novice, that doesn't know anything about AI, how do they create something like that?
They open an account with Hey Jen. They take a video or two that are at least 3 minutes of themselves. Perhaps they take one where they're just straight on and they're not too excited, and they're just talking into the camera, they're blinking, they're taking some pauses. Then they take another video where they're kind of animated, and then you drop that into the Hey Jen software, and you have to pay for it, and there's all these different levels. Incredibly smart. So they're monthly subscriptions, you pay annually and you get a discount. And then the voice, if you're at the lower tier of pricing, is kind of monotone.
Okay.
As you get higher, it's better. Or we drop it into 11 Labs, and then you just start adjusting the pitch and the tone and things like that. And so we take some time and we chop it up and make it as good as we can. And today's the worst it'll ever be. Tomorrow's going to be better.
I love it. And so I have to, I'm going to throw it over to Tobias in about 2 seconds. We had a comment here. Will the real Hector the Connector please stand up? Because
baby.
it's true. I mean, it looked legit. And I showed this to a few folks this week. I was happened to be in a different city and had some acquaintances around me, and I showed them the video, and they were blown away. And I asked my kids, I said, is this real or is this fake? And the way I guess I asked the question, they knew it was fake. They said, I think it's fake, but it looks like it's real. And it's scary how far technology is coming. Like you just said, it's the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah. Our first playing with it was because I always like to set the bar high. Like I said, we've got competitors. It was December. I met a client early December, and there's all these holiday cards that were like, they all look the same. So I thought I'd create one with a QR code linked to a custom video where we brought Frank Sinatra back to sing a song, and we changed the lyrics and we added video, and we won an award on through Mind Valley for that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was work, a lot of work. It was weeks, but because we put the work in, this other stuff is so much easier now.
Yeah, it's such a good point. I really love the two things that you said. One about the amount of time and energy that you've taken to know and understand your craft, and how important that experience is in knowing how to talk to these tools. I relate to that in a lot of ways regarding, like when you think about AI, everybody says you can go to AI and have it, write communications and write language for you, write, blogs or whatever it is. But if you don't know how to write well, or if you don't already have that skill, then you can pretty quickly see whether or not something was written by AI or not. But if you do, and you know how to talk to it, and you know how to tell it, what not to include and what, different writing pros to consider, and give it a style guide for,
Mm-hmm.
how it's going to talk and sound. It comes out so much differently. And so I think it's such
Yeah.
about that.
Thank you. Yeah.
One of the cool things that I've seen really happen is the speed. You talked about speed to market and like the cost, or in the consumer products arena. I've seen a lot of increase in speed of people getting their digital marketing, like their websites and their social media presence, getting that to market a lot faster. Is there anywhere that you would point someone who was interested in using a Mid-Journey or something like that, to where they could go and maybe gain experience from someone like yourself on how to talk to a tool like Mid-Journey, or how to think about, ways that they can get different types of outputs from it?
Yeah, and it's interesting because you have to trust first, right? Unfortunately, anything like this, there's a lot of newness to it, and there's a lot of people trying to capitalize on it. So people selling snake oil. There's a lot of charlatans out there. 5,000 prompts for $99. No, we took a course. I paid a lot through Mind Valley, and it was a 6-month course where myself and my staff every Tuesday and Thursday spent 2 hours online getting live classes. Shout out to Mr. Grateful. That dude is amazing at teaching. Dominic Ashburn, he is an incredible human being. I think he might be 28, and he's been on a Mac since he was 8. That gentleman is the most profoundly deep. I mean, he's Mr. Grateful, and he's grateful for teaching, and he's so good. So that's definitely one place. He does teach through Mind Valley. There's a lot of other really good teachers there. So I guess that would be my first place I would point somebody.
Awesome, thank you for that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Mind Valley is is like a incubator or a teaching platform where they can connect with.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like all things. Like if you want to learn about meditation or health or wellness or finance, they just happen to ping me at the right time. I was 7 months into AI. I've got my very first project here that I used AI on, and it's a marketing piece. And like I said, I like to use all the different embellishments. So this is a fortune box where our first entry into AI wasn't ChatGPT, and it might not be what most people think, but we put some fortune cookies in there, and we used, because I'm the real Hector the connector, I've got connections everywhere. The software is called Mosaic, and this is run through HP. And if you're familiar, usually the big dogs use it. I own a small boutique agency here in Southern California. Usually it's Coca-Cola, Nutella, Nestle, and we put these butterflies where every single butterfly is 100% unique in the design because of the AI software. So we create one pattern. We actually created about 10, and we send it off. And there's certain criteria. It can make 100 of that one pattern, or 500 or 5,000 or 10,000. So we put these butterflies in the fortune box, and it's actually it's a vehicle for good. It's not only a marketing piece for myself, but with these butterflies, if you take a picture, you post it and tag us, we donate to the only nonprofit here in Orange County that supports young mothers, their children, and the fathers. And the fathers, did you hear that? So they want to keep that family unit together. I happen to have 2 daughters that I've, nurtured and did my best to take care of in every single way and get them educated and independent. These young mothers, they don't have that. And the statistics are staggering. So my heart went out to them. So when somebody does this, makes a butterfly that we gift to them for free, we donate. And when Tom says, "Hey, Tobias, I want to send you a butterfly." Hector, how do I do that? You go on this landing page. For free, we send him a little flat one. He makes it himself. And then if he posts and tags, I donate again. It's that butterfly effect. And again, because that is just on my heart. And it's my first entryway into AI.
Love that creativity.
Yeah, I think that is, we could end right here. That is so awesome. That is, I had a question lined up, but after that, I'm kind of like, wow, that's a beautiful thing.
There's even AI in these fortune cookies, gourmet fortune cookies out of Oregon. My good friend Anita Stubenross, she wrote Apple's Credo. She worked for Apple for 13 years. She wrote these messages for me. They're all custom messages to raise awareness for that nonprofit. And the design on the back of the message is just like these butterflies, like every one of those little girls, young women that have babies. Everyone's unique.
Wow, that is so cool. I'm going to change gears on you a little bit.
Absolutely.
You've started from the ground up, small business. You work with small businesses. What's that one piece of advice for a small business or a solopreneur that is trying to utilize AI? Because you are doing things with AI that is unique. I hear a lot about Claude and ChatGPT and Midjourney, but your use of AI is really unique, really different. And so I would love to hear your perspective on what a small business owner, how they can use AI to make an immediate impact.
I guess it depends on the small business. And I know so many people that use it in 100 different ways. So my focus, I chase all the shiny objects like a lot of people, but I am just trying to put the blinders on and stay focused to creativity. So I would say get the least expensive, subscription. Definitely pay for the $20 for ChatGPT, pay for the Midjourney, pay for these things, find a mentor, find somebody. I went to LinkedIn and I found a ton of people. I connected with one of the Dial Line voted one of the best photographers in the world. And I connected with this guy and he's amazing. And he's adopted AI and we connected. His name is Terry Campbell. He's like my age. He's incredible. I'm like, dude, if I could talk to anybody, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Change is tough, but
Right.
you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable and surround yourself with like-minded people. LinkedIn was a huge, huge hub for doing that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Our community is wonderful. Our community is generous. Our creative community at large, I'm getting all kinds of advice and I'm giving advice.
Wow, that is awesome. And you mentioned getting a mentor. I don't think it can be understated the value of a good human mentor. Are there ways that, and we have Deborah that said, hey, love the give back attitude. Mm-hmm. And then, dude. So I forget what I was going to say there, but I talk about shiny objects. I see the shiny messages there. I completely lost my train of thought with that dude comment. That kind of threw me off.
Sarah got you.
Yeah. Tobias, let me throw it back to you and see what you have there.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had any experience with or used the Adobe suite with the new AI tools that they've been adding in it, like in Photoshop, things like that?
Yeah, we use Firefly. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I just can't state it enough. Even like back in the day, even using Illustrator or Photoshop way back when, I need it for this. It does this. It does so much. We probably use I've used Illustrator and Photoshop for 20 years, 6 days a week, just grinding. I know it so well. My people know it so well. So it's like, but it's only a little sliver of what you can do, the power. So find your niche and go after it
Yeah. So when you're utilizing your team's utilizing Adobe Illustrator, and do you pull in the responses from Midjourney, the responses from other other AI image creators, or how do you utilize AI with Adobe Illustrator with other AI tech?
Okay. Well, we utilize it perhaps if we get a Dolly prompt, because we're doing illustration, we're doing photography, we're doing, all sorts of things. Actually, we might use GPT to say, hey, we've got this Asian Latin infused vegan chips, and I actually came out with the name of thin air chips, and I put that into GPT, and I said, hey, what's the color profile? What kind of, we know the target audience is young mothers that are in their 20s and 30s that have disposable income, and ChatGPT comes back with, hey, it should be these colors, it should be sustainable looking, so make it a craft bag. And those are some of the ways that we communicate with Illustrator. But with Dolly and Illustrator, we're able to rasterize some of the images that come out of GPT and Dolly for the purpose of like illustration and textures and visuals.
That is awesome. Another quick question: as far as your industry goes, we're getting ready to have an insurance claims panel here in just a minute, mainly property claims. So we're getting into some niche industries here, just like you're very unique to your industry. I'm always curious the application of AI within your industry. Where do you see the next 12, 24 months the greatest growth in use of AI?
Me or someone like me being able to communicate effectively to someone who spends a ton of money on really nice photography, because I've got props in my garage that I've been collecting for years, plates and napkins, and you don't need that anymore. I mean, I had a photographer come to visit me that I hadn't used in a year, that I've used for 25 years. And he goes, dude, I'm going to have to retire. I'm going to have to sell all my stuff, because hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment almost rendered useless. So in those it's scary. I'm trying to talk to all my people to come on board, because if you don't, it's like this merry-go-round, and if you don't get on, it keeps going whether you go or not. It's got with or without you energy. It's like it's going to move, and if you don't get on, you're going to get left behind. And you have to do that.
Wow.
Man, that's so true. That is so true.
Yep.
Like, get on now. Like, in the next 12 months, it's almost scary to see what might be around the corner. That's why I dove in so hard.
Yeah, it's moving. It's just moving at warp speed.
And even like low carbon footprint. A photo shoot 25 years ago, let's say for a major burger chain, we don't have to name names. I hired one of their photographers and their food stylists, actually photographer assistant, food stylist assistant. 12 people from the burger place show up to pick and, do this and that. They glue those sesame seeds on the bun. They get 50 dozen buns delivered from the bakery to get one good crown and one good base. If you think about that, how much carbon waste is it? People flying in from out of town, all the electricity, all the equipment, the space. Today, one afternoon, me and one of my very good, highly trained creatives can do that better, more iterative. We've done it with pancakes, where we could put a pour coming down the pancakes. You don't have to worry if strawberries are in season. You don't have to worry if you have to find a surface of reclaimed wood or slate, or trying to be cool, trying to be different. Using this bank of information is incredibly valuable.
That's so powerful.
That's amazing.
Tom, is there any questions from the audience coming in on this?
Let me take a look here. Not right now. The audience has been fairly active. I think that you're kind of blowing the minds, Hector, just because you're using AI, and this is, I mean, your answers are different from a lot of the other answers and a lot of the same tools other people are already using. So I've taken a lot of notes. Hey Gen, 11 Labs, Mosaic. I mean, wrote down a few of the trainers like Dominic Ashburn and a few of the others. I've taken some good notes. But as we're getting ready for the next panel, I wanted to throw it over to you. And last, I guess, the closing conversation. Anything you'd like to leave with the audience?
I've embraced. If I can embrace it, you can embrace it. It's a wonderful community. I adore my fellow entrepreneurs and creatives, and I suppose lastly, the future of AI is so bright that I'm gonna have to throw these bad boys on.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome!
There you go.
I love it.
Right.
Well, thank you, my friend, so much.
Thank
It has
you.
been a pleasure speaking with you. It has been really, really interesting. From Hey Gen to 11, I'm gonna have to check out some of these AI tools that you're talking about. I have a list going that of all these different softwares and websites. It's pretty awesome, pretty cool.
I'm available anytime if there's anything I can do to help you out.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I can't wait for the next Symposium. We'll have you back again.
There you go. Take care. All right.
Take care.
Hector.
Bye-bye. All right. That was absolutely amazing. That's a space and industry I've never had any exposure to. The way he is giving back, the way he is, I mean, a non-for-profit, and there's just so many things that he is doing that is really unique, really different.
I'm
but we're going
to that level of that creativity level. I'm just like, so
it's a whole different level. It's unbelievable.
It's special.
But we're going to change industries and go into the insurance industry, and I have to say, for